What's going on, y'all? It's JSmo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys another recap video, and to be honest with you, one that I did not initially plan on making. I had done all my predictions for all the battle rap we got this past weekend, which ended up being a lot of good battle rap at that. And I had said I am for sure going to do a Trenches recap, and then I'll also try to do a Public Influence Battle League recap, which I ended up doing. Great event that happened on Saturday. If you haven't checked out that recap, it's my last video. And then as you know with the Trenches, just didn't end up going down. Whole event got canceled with Ice backing out, right? So I moved on to the next event that I also did some predictions for, and that is Just Business. Shout out to my guy Doc that put this one together. One of the biggest voices and really forces behind the scene in the culture for giving newer talent opportunities or trying to raise the bar for some more unknown talent, right? So most of this card, it is a new talent or sleeper talent type of card. So what happens is on the undercard, there wasn't too much crazy work there. I ended up watching it. There was good battles in there. You could debate that the best battle of the night came from one of the matchups that I kind of looked over a bit, but I focused mainly when I was looking forward to the card on two matchups, and that was the top two matchups. You had Justice versus Wusa, and you had Yunus versus Los Premee, which is going to be like the main topic of this video. But we're going to go over the rest of the card real quick. Ace Amin versus Tex was supposed to happen on this card. For me, that was like the third battle behind those two that I was looking forward to the most, but it ended up getting canceled. It's an ace battle in the last 2 years. I can't say I'm overly shocked, but I thought the style matchup was good. Not anything like changed the night. It was just a little bit unfortunate when I found out. But, of course, we're going to go over the card. I think it was a 6-battle card, so it went by pretty fast. And, of course, we have to talk about these results for Yunus versus Los Premee. So, right before we start off with the battles, I just want to shout out the event itself. The production was good. The battles look good. They had Avocado behind the camera, which is, it's very simple. If you want your event to look good and most of the time run good, just hire Avocado, right? And then the run time was about 4.5, 5 hours for 6 battles. So in a world where events keep constantly expanding to 7 to 8 hour like epics that they don't need to be, I was appreciative of like the runtime and letting me actually chill afterwards and kind of like process everything that I just watched from the event. Still people up and talking about the event afterwards. But with that being said, we'll go through the undercard a little bit quick here. They had Glory versus Ratchet Rico to start the card. Ratchet Rico won 2-1 clear. They split the first 2 rounds. Glory had a good second round, completely chokes away the third. So Guy Rico ended up winning. He was pretty decent. Then they had Mozzie versus Foots, which I figured would be a bar fest on the card. I didn't think it would be anything crazy. It ended up being debatably the best battle on the card. Great back and forth for the most part. Debatable battle as well. I've been extremely skeptical of Mozzie. I feel like I watched one performance where I cannot get through the battle. I can't stand watching it. And then you watch something like this or even the Hansel battle that he had, and he's meeting talents that I respect. Good versions of them really up there, and in this case, with Hansel, he won the battle. With this one, debatably won the battle. I had Mozzie taking the first super clear. Foots turned up and had a fantastic second round. His second round is one of the best rounds of the entire event. And then you get to a third where both of them were just good. It wasn't the best round from either, but it was far from like their weakest or anything. It's just a solid, debatable third. I edged Foots the battle 2-1 second and third, but I think it's a pretty good look for both of them. I don't know what Mozzie has next, but I just saw Foots got announced for a battle versus KD. And I know KD's got some hype and momentum right now, so that should be a good matchup. I know my guy Spot him got him. I don't know the name of the card, but I know he's going to be throwing it in like November. So kind of an insane amount of prep time considering the talents that we're talking about here. But both of them have been doing pretty good work on some of the smaller leagues, so it's only right they catch some rec. So Foots and Mozzie ended up being a good battle. I'm trying to think what came after Foots and Mozzie, because Prez versus P Black, I know, didn't end up going down. Jackboy and Zeke was a little bit later in the card. I think it was Justice versus Wusa that actually ended up battling next. And as I've been saying, that was one of the top 2 battles I was looking forward to most when this card came up. And I gotta say, man, I'm so overly impressed with the work I've been seeing from Justice. And I had, heard rumblings of him. Obviously been battling for a minute, but even last year that he was kind of a newer talent that was doing his numbers. But this year, from the Hansel battle to the Lou Castro battle to this Wusa battle. Now, I'm not going to lie. In terms of, like, the environment, they are safer environments. Most of the time, it is like his people in the building. You know what I mean? And CP, shout out CP, is always out there acting feral as the hype man, which kind of is what you should do as the hype man. It does get over the top sometimes. It's kind of why I have to make this point. But take that away for a second. The shit Justice is rapping is really that fucking good. And sometimes we let optics take away from it. Like, you could put that in any room and I think he's cooking. He's got some originality to his style. There is haymakers, like that 9/11 shit he had in the first, it brought the, I told my homie, it brought the whole building down. Like, the way he set up that concept was crazy, and he's gotten good versions for the most part of all these opponents I've named. Lou Castro, Hansel, and Wusa. And outside of the Lou battle, where I felt like he OD'd on the time limit, and that was a big reason that turned out the way it was, versus Wusa and Hansel, these guys have real, like, top 20 of 2025 type of momentum, and Justice is seeing good versions of them and just beating them, man. I and the rest of the LTBR team judged that Hansel battle. We had Justice unanimously. We thought he had a little bit of better strategy and just better material overall. And now you look at this Wusa battle, it's going to go down as debatable because I think the first and third are like fairly close. And if you're a Wusa fan, I am seeing some people try to argue Wu 2-1. But man, I had Justice in the first comfortably, more comfortably than some people are calling it. I thought Justice won the first round of this battle, and he definitely won the second round of this battle. And I feel like this night was full of like really good seconds. Foots' second round was great. Justice's second round for Wusa is really great. We are definitely going to talk about Preem's second round for Yunus here in a second, but that's my main takeaway from this battle is, listen, Wu is pretty good in this battle. I've given Wu his praises this year. Guy might even make SM. You know what I'm saying? That's how good he's battling. There's genuine push for that, especially if it ends up being him versus Shotgun Suge. I don't know if Suge can get to London. That's like a whole other thought process over there, but I'm not mad at Wusa making SM, but that has to give even more credence to the fact Justice is like truly getting like respectable versions of them. And I think he's getting a little bit better every battle. He's usually one of the more enjoyable performances on a card when I have watched him. And, you know, people have brought up Rookie of the Year, which I've even said Justice would be my frontrunner for Rookie of the Year. Nobody ever knows how to define it. Someone's going to ask for details. It derails into a whole other convo. But in terms of, like, new guys that I really wasn't looking for last year, and now I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking got it. Overly impressed with Justice. So I edge Wusa the third round of this battle, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think you could debate Justice Gentleman's 30. Like, I think he did that good, but I had him 2-1 in the first two rounds of the battle, and for me, probably the second most impressive performer of the night overall for the card. And then two more quick battles before we get to the main event. Jackboy Main versus Zeke. I'm going to keep it real with you. I watched a little bit of this battle. I was burnt out from battle rap on the weekend. I really wasn't feeling this battle, and I checked out for a little bit. I heard it was like one of the longest battles of the night. Jackboy might have choked. A little bit of it that I watched, I wasn't all that impressed, so I simply just took a break. Is what it is. It happens sometimes. And so I'm not even going to like try to lie and give my call on that. I didn't watch it. And then you have Nakeem versus Ghost, which went on, which to me was like one of the cool, like okay battles of the night. I had Ghost in the first two rounds of the battle, Nakeem taking the third, but I wasn't like overly impressed by either. Ghost has been around for a minute, so it was a pretty decent W for him versus like one of the more booked guys on iBattle, but you know, nothing too crazy. Now we get to Yunus versus Los Preem, which just, I think even for people that didn't care about this event at all or even know about it, you're seeing even some of the top bloggers be like, what am I hearing about what Los Preem did to Yunus? Because it is definitely a situation where it's not a great back and forth. Someone did something to the other person, right? And going into this battle, you know, this is really big, I think, for the newer era of talent where you have Yunus, who's pushed up in terms of like new star combos to the highest level, especially after the chess performance on Gnome. People are waiting to see what he does next. I remember looking at all the impressions that we had on Post About Gnome afterwards, or even the interviews that Hip Hop is Real and 15 Minutes of Fame did. Yunus was getting some of the most views. Like, whenever there's a new talent making it to a certain level where it's like he's starting to battle some of those bigger names and big situations, people start to pay attention more. People love a potential new top tier talent. So Yunus is super talked about. And then Los Preem, I think most people would say is the best talent over there at iBattle. I think Appa's had a great kind of debate for that, having the headband for so long, but who did he lose it to? Los Preem this year. And for me, my introduction to Los Preem, and I think a lot of people, it's not like he's like an unknown talent. I know some people are just getting to maybe know him from this battle, but his one-rounder versus Danny Myers was what put me on. I know Calico ended up being a big fan of that, giving him a lot of praises. Like, a ton of battle rappers were like, and that was almost like, it feels like 2 years ago. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but I know it's well over a year ago. But that one rounder Los had versus Danny put him on the map, and I think he's been recognized as one of the more dangerous punchers, right? Now, some people put him top 3, top 5. I think that there's a certain amount of body of work, opponents, different situations you have to face, so I don't put him up in that conversation, but I've always been a big Los Preme fan, at least ever since I've seen that one rounder, and this year in particular, and we'll say the last few years, I think the thing Los Preme does best is really show up versus battlers in his class. And it's not always like perfectly like matched up in his class because he's on iBattle. It's not like he's made a Crucible class, but newer battlers that came out around the same time as him, he's battled Appa, he's battled King, and now he's battled Yunus. The King battle, I had him losing by an edge, but like he was really good. That was a war. The Appa battle, I know some people debate Appa. Once the battle actually came out, there's a lot of people that have Appa, but completely understanding of why Los Preme won. It was a judged win, and he ended Appa's run is kind of like being the man over there at iBattle. And now you get Yunus, where even though he's done these great things and showed up in these types of matchups at his best, right? I still had Yunus 2-1. He's kind of on top of the world right now. I thought he was the better all-around talent. And I think him thinking he's such a better all-around talent, approach-wise, is a huge reason why Los Preme kind of kicked Yunus's ass in this battle. It is a very clear W. Some people are calling it a 30. I'm going to explain real quick why I have it 2-1 Los Preme clear in the second and the third. But to be honest with you, from the beginning of the battle to the end of the battle, Los Preme controlled the pace. He had better material. He had better energy. He had better peaks of his round. And it is with his signature style, which is straight firepower. It is straight punching back to back. It is gun bars. He is punching on topic sometimes in there. It's not like there's not moments of angling in a sense, or if he's like totally indirect in their general bars. It's not that at all, but the guy is a pure puncher. That's what he is. And in the first round of the battle, which ended up being Yunus's best round of the battle, but I thought he was like good but not good enough. He kind of started off, a couple things he did weird, and I think Yunus might have really just overthought his approach in this battle, because it is probably Yunus's worst performance up to this point, and so strange. So he starts out kind of with this whole I'm not going to do gun bars thing, which, like, I get it. You're battling Los Preme. You're about to call him a nitty clone and one-dimensional for 3 rounds, but like, I don't know why some people think, like, if they say, oh, I'm not going to do gun bars, like, we're going to give him extra points. Like, man, if you don't just go fucking rap, bro. Like, you can rap without gun bars and be fire, but don't think, like, since you announce it, we're like, oh, no gun bars. He's taking it to the next level. It's not that at all, especially in a matchup like this where you are a pen with high punching ability. You are facing a straight puncher. Like, you should be bringing, even if you're going to mix it up, there is a certain level of having to match, like, oh, you can do that, I can do that with you, and I can do this other shit. I felt like out the gate, ironic because it's Yunus, right? But it was like a full 3 rounds of angling. Like, he was going to be completely surgical, and in the first round, he ends up bringing up how Los Preme had said, on my dead homie, I'll never battle Yunus, which I assume he was referring to Mac the Captain. Rest in peace, Mac the Captain over there at iBattle. And, when he brought up that angle, you can clearly see it frustrated Los Preme to an extent. And I understand trying to flip something like that, like, on my dead homie, I'll never battle you, and guess what? You're right here battling me. So I kind of understand the approach he was taking with it. In the first round, it worked. He ends up doing it all 3 rounds, which I think was quite a bit too much. And there's a lot of, like, accolade talk. I've made it here, and you haven't made it here. And these are all fair angles, but I feel like Yunus was having a hard time, like, putting haymakers together with it. Usually if he does those long buildups, he has a point to make at the end, or there is a huge bar to go with it. I feel like he was just talking, and it led to like a good round, a solid round, but nothing like too powerful. And Los Preme was out-rapping Yunus in the first. Like, there's no question about it. I had Los Preme clear at one point in the round where I'm like, it's 1-0 and he's still rapping. So the reason that I don't give Los Preme the first, even though I said it right here, he was just better, at the end of his round, he chokes, right? Like, he loses his place. It takes him, he's repeating. He's like, fuck. And then he gets it back, and he goes into another bar that it looks like he's going to choke, and it's actually like a fake choke, the way he flipped it. And I see some people that are like, well, the whole thing was a fake choke. I disagree. I watched it with my eyes. Like, nobody takes like a full minute or minute and some change of stumbling just to sell the fake choke bar. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take that long. I think he genuinely did choke. And then maybe he had this in the reserve, which would be insane battle rap IQ. I don't want to give him all that credit if it's not true, right? But after that, he like pulled off the fake choke after. So if you are a fan watching, I can understand someone trying to say like the whole thing was fake, but the ending of that round was completely fucking weird. And even though the fake choke was good, I didn't think it was great where it made me forget all of this awkwardness to the ending of the round. And I thought Yunus's round was just good enough where even though I had Los Preme winning the first, it was clear, but it's not like he was just dominating him. So now this one stumble is gonna like overshadow the domination. Like, he was winning, but he wasn't winning by enough, and you're never really winning by enough where a choke is gonna make me not say that you lost the round. I don't care. It could be 100-0. You could be smoking the guy. If you choke, you lose the fucking round. It's that simple. So I'll say Los Preme had the momentum. It was a missed opportunity, I thought, in the first to go up 1-0 early, but I had Yunus 1-0 because of that technicality. But it really didn't fucking matter because then from there, Yunus is not clean for the rest of the battle. He chokes early in the second. He does get it back, and he has like an okay round, but nothing crazy. And then Preme just walks him in the second. And that's why even though Foots had a good second, even though Justice had a good second, I think Los Preme's second for Yunus is the round of the event. And I'd go as far to say it's one of the best rounds I've heard Los Preme rap. He was just whooping him. The student of the game, like Randy Orton, obviously coming up under Triple H and wrestling, like that was crazy. I'm mad I don't have more quotes here in front of me, to be honest with you, because Los Preme has nothing but back-to-back-to-back haymakers all through the second, to the point it gets to like overkill a little. It's like, man, he's killing him. So most people, just because of momentum, were seeing it as Los Preme 2-0, but I had it 1-1. I had Los Preme clearing the second. He would have cleared it even if Yunus didn't choke, but obviously he did. And then in the first round, I have Los Preme losing because of his slip-up at the end of the first, even though he had better material. So it was 1-1, and it was like a lucky 1-1 for Yunus. And then you get into the third, Yunus is less clean in the third than he is in the second. I didn't even know Yunus like stumbled. Like, that was in his arsenal. I've seen him be nothing but clean pretty much up to this point in his career, whether that be smaller plates, like when he was like on the circuits just making it up, when he's made it to URL. Like, I haven't even seen a hint of uncleanliness. So to see him in the second and the third of this battle just completely like kind of self-combust, I thought was insane. Like, I didn't see that coming. Third round of the battle, it was a complete layup for Los Preme, and it's not as good as his second, but he is still whooping Yunus in this third round of the battle. Like, and there is parts where he's picking apart a little bit of Yunus's career, right? There's going to be bars about Yunus's virginity here and there, bars about Doc. The what's up, that was in the second too, I think, or in the first. The Bugs Bunny, what's up, Doc? Looking through the whole, like, what's up, Doc? One of the bars of the battle as well. But in the third round, I mean, Preme was clean, Preme was good, and he just cleaned up an easy W. So he had better material all three rounds. So I understand people looking at, because it is an ass whooping, even though I'm calling it a 2-1. Like, he was way better than him. But because of that slip up, I have to give Yunus the first. But the second and the third, there is nothing to debate. Los Preme cleared him. And with that level of W for Los Preme, and especially, even though I've always had respect for Los Preme as a talent, it just speaks more to how I saw Yunus walking into this battle, that I had him winning comfortably going in. So for him to lose, there's two sides we have to look at now on like the post-battle result of it. For Yunus, this is the worst loss that I've seen Yunus take. And I've had Yunus losing battles before, and I think particularly as the favorite, he's dropped a couple. I'm not going to say supposed to, right? But he was the heavy favorite versus Franchise. He lost that battle. It's a good battle, but it's a judge loss. He got a great Franchise. He was the favorite versus Pass on Apollo. Like, I remember everyone in there, like, Pass can't do anything with the wordplay of Yunus, this and that. And even though it's a very good battle, debatably the best, I think I had it as the best battle of day one for Apollo. I had Pass winning the second and third round of that battle. So you have two good battles, but where Yunus was talking heavy, people expected him to win, and then he ends up losing, right? And I think Los Preme kind of fits in that fold where now it's like you're losing as the favorite here and there. When you have that big advantage and support from the people, that's kind of the times that people are getting you. And then this is just probably the worst performance I've seen from Yunus. Like I said, for him to choke pretty much in multiple rounds, I have not seen him do that. That automatically raises some alarms. And then material-wise, there was all of this angling right? Like I said, he revisited the dead homie angle all 3 rounds, and I feel like it wasn't like hitting the more that it went on. There was this weird tension of the battle where it genuinely feels like they do not like each other. I did not know Yunus and Los Preme to have any type of like real life static, but even at the end, like they barely shook hands. Yunus seemed in his own head for most of the battle. I think he tweeted after he let his emotions get the best of him. So maybe there was a bit of an underlying grudge playing into it here. And I don't think that Yunus handled it properly. But even the material itself, like he was just not going to win with that approach. And I don't know if he took that because he doesn't like Los Preme, but this is a heavy critique moment for Yunus. Now he's done, and I tweeted about this. He's done far more positive than negative, and obviously battle rap will, if you're doing great, they'll rewrite everything to say you're undefeated. Then when you lose, I'm seeing people be like, he was never a star. He actually lost every one of those battles to JC, Hustle, and Nitty. He only beat Chess. Neither side of the spectrum are correct there, right? It's too extreme, but this is one where it's like, hey, you got a lot of hype post-known battle. You kind of took a battle here you did not have to take, even though Preme is in his class, a style matchup people have wanted to see. It's not like a super popular matchup compared to some of the names that he could be matched up with. So to, after such a big win, for your next battle to probably be your worst performance yet and be an L that is going to affect your stock, heavily disappointed in Yunus in this battle. And it is a bit of an eyebrow raiser because now you're looking at Preme, who hasn't gotten all the opportunities that Yunus has, but if he can do that to him, why can't he elevate to the next level and do some of those good things that we've seen Yunus do too? It just raises unnecessary questions about your contemporaries that are around like kind of your class level in a sense. And just a bad L that changes the trajectory of Yunus' 2025 just a little bit and definitely hurts his momentum. And then as for Los Preme, and this is a question I want to give you guys, this is a huge W, and like I said, class versus class work has been where he's really shined. Who do you want to see Los Preme battle next? And some people are going to get upset with this, right? And I'm not, just even me mentioning this type of topic, because I know that people get very, like, sentimental when it comes to the whole Los Preme only battling on iBattle. And even a big part of Yunus' approach is, like, you don't travel to other leagues, you only battle in a safe environment. I would love to see Los Preme travel across multiple different leagues because the best, not just good battle rappers, but the best battle rappers in the world touch a variety of different stages. Los Preme has proved he can do it in an iBattle setting. This was neutral ground, even though if we're being real, there's a lot of iBattle type of alumni in the building. Like a lot of people that be at iBattle events were at this event. You know what I'm saying? So I do think it's still a relatively safe environment, but he took Yunus on neutral ground. He didn't just take him iBattle in New York, so credit has to be given, but build off this, right? Battle more people on neutral ground. Travel to other leagues, because I wholeheartedly believe Los Preme can do it. Whether he battles on, and I'm just going to name leagues even if it doesn't make the most logistical sense, but URL, Trenches, The Riot, like, I want to see him go to all these different leagues because I know he can do it, and there's so many good matchups to take. And I asked today what matchups, and I want you guys to tell me what matchups do you want for Los Preme next, because I saw Los Preme versus Hansel. I love that. Los Preme versus Foots. I'm not mad at that one. The one that I love, my guy, shout out 3 Letterman mentioned, Los Preme versus JC. I want to see Los Preme versus JC, and I want that. That could happen on iBattle, but that could really happen anywhere. Great bar fest, elite legend-like talent who's going to show up, and it's not like he's going to catch like how Shotgun Sugar, T-Top do, where you catch them on like one of their side plates and they're just showing up for a check. JC is going to show up and treat that like a fucking fight, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Los Preme versus other elites or high-level punchers, and I want it to be a fucking fight. I feel that way about JC versus Los Preme, and the second matchup I probably liked most was Hansel versus Los Preme. I've seen some people mention Rum Nitty versus Los Preme, which I get. There's been some naturally drawn comparisons with him being a newer age puncher. I just think you're automatically going to be compared to Nitty. I'd like to see them build up to it a little bit. Rum Nitty will battle anyone at any point in their career, so it's no, like, doubt. It's not a skill thing to me. I know that Rum Nitty damn near was probably ready to lock that battle in, but for the sake of, like, maximizing the impact of a matchup like that and what I think it could mean to Los Preme's career, I'd love to see him build 3 or 4 matchups up versus those notable names. So now when he battles Nitty, hopefully on, like, a bigger scale card, it means something, like, super heavy. So nothing but praises for Los Preme. maybe probably the most important W of his career up to this point, and I just hope he can take this momentum and keep going, because I feel like for a while after that Danny battle, even though he had good performances that you can spot all throughout, he didn't level up from there. You know, he kind of just stayed being good and even a bit underrated. I don't want him to be underrated anymore. Los Premee is a talent that everyone in battle rap should be seeing in big situations. So hopefully he can take this and springboard and just keep going with it, man. But that is my overall thoughts on Just Business, and obviously my extensive thoughts on Yunus versus Los Premee, kind of where it leaves both of them. If you have opinions on who Yunus should battle next too, please let me know in the comment section down below. It's not just like factory reset, start over, but you know, where does he go from here? Because it was a pretty nasty L that he took the other night. But as always, man, it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know any of your thoughts on this card. We can have any debates, anything you agree or disagree about, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace.